front of the bench, 74 Melbourne City, number 7, Jay Bulleen, 9, Sam Morrison, number 12, Bradley Chip, 15, Bulleen Ferrer.
Good evening and welcome to the David Barrow Stadium here at the Veneto Club for the Round 3 NPL 2 East clash between Bulleen Lions and Melbourne City Youth. My name is Daniel Chandler and I'm joined here with Joel Frucci. Joel, we couldn't have asked for a better night for football.
Yeah, it's looking very good, Daniel, indeed. It's a bit hazy, but it's nice, comfortable conditions indeed for the players out here, and it should be a good game of football, actually. Both teams have been pretty free scoring in the first couple of games. City have put 9 past their opponents, Bulleen 6. So expecting a goal fest here, fair to say.
To go through the lineups quickly, Bulleen Lions in goals: number 1, Wyatt Chan; number 2, Eli Lutma; 5, George Stavridis; 6, Peter Sawan; 7, Josh McMonigal-Ehas; 8, Josh Knight; 9, Ben Everson; 10, Phil Petreski; 11, Daniel McLennan; 12, Adrian Delmonico, making his starting debut at left back; and number 20, Andrew Mullett. Joel, there's been a few changes for the Melbourne City lineup since last week.
Yeah, indeed there have been. So in comes James Delinov, the goalkeeper, and of course Nicholas Hatzigeorgiou as well, and Gianluca Iannucci, of course, the young Socceroos. That should be fairly exciting inclusion, and obviously in James Delinov, City really bringing back some experience into this team, and should be interesting to see how Connor Metcalf and Dylan Perez go as well. Of course, Dylan Perez was off the bench as a substitute against Perth Glory in the A-League yesterday. Got some 5 minutes plus stoppage time, while Connor Metcalf should be probably a bit more rested. He didn't actually see any minutes in that game. A late inclusion for Dario Vidicic.
Perez has done well to draw a foul there. And Karlic has it at left back. As you said, Joel, we are expecting a goal fest tonight with the winner of this match, as Connor Metcalf does well to keep it from Petreski. The winner of this match has some serious ramifications in terms of finding their way to the top of the NPL 2 East table. Yeah,
so Melbourne City will find their way. That's a very audacious shot indeed from Bulleen as we're speaking. But Melbourne City will find their way to the top of the table with 3 points. They'll jump above Eastern Lions. Bulleen, though, if they can manage 3 points, they'll go joint top of the table. But it seems they'll still be a bit shy of Eastern Lions on goal difference, who have built up quite a handy difference of 6. So they'll need to win by a few to match that.
An earlier mistake from Chant there. From Delianov. But Bulleen don't make them pay. City streaming forward. Chant with some nice delivery, looking for Delmonico, who can't keep it in, as City take the first throw in for the evening. You said, Joel, City have some senior experience coming into the side with Delianov at the back and Connor Metcalf, Dylan Perez, who played yesterday versus Perth Glory. They'll really be looking to go at Bulleen tonight, who have conceded a fair few goals coming into this game.
Well, I think certainly both teams will want to tighten up at the back. Obviously there's only so many that you can score until it becomes a bit of an issue defensively, because you can score so many goals, but you don't want to leave yourself open at the back and have to score 4, 5, even 6 goals, as Melbourne City did last week to win your games. You want to make it easy for yourself. So certainly both teams will be looking for a good base defensively before they go forward, because they both do have a lot of firepower.
Delmonico with it at left back. And interestingly, both sides have plenty of firepower. Bulleen certainly have Phil Petrescu, who won NPL 2 East Player of the Season last year. The City, you and I were speaking before the game about Rami Nazarene, and he certainly has had some senior experience through the A-League, and last week scoring a hat-trick.
Yeah, well, Rami Nazarene's an interesting one. As you say, Daniel, he started the NPL season like an absolute house on fire. Good chance of Bulleen here. Good save by James Dalianov. But yeah, look, Rami Nazarene's had a great start to the season. He's an interesting one because he's certainly a player that's probably good enough to be featuring on the bench, I think, at least for Melbourne City regularly. And there's been a lot of comparison as well to Daniel Lozani, and we know the production line that he came through. So there's certainly some big raps on Rami Nazarene. I'm really excited to watch him play here.
The City have certainly started today, or tonight rather, bringing the ball out through Dylan Perez, finding Connor Metcalf, and they're just, at the moment, trying to find an unlocking pass through the Bulleen defence. They certainly seem to be attacking Delmonico at left back, as Dylan Perez finds his way, and Bulleen clear it. Bulleen certainly seem to be sitting back and inviting a little bit of pressure, as Nazarene has City's first shot for the evening as it sails, and Chan watches it go out for his first goal kick of the evening. Certainly for Melbourne City's goal kicks, Bulleen are pressing high, not allowing them to play out. And for Bulleen's first kick, City are inviting them to play out from the back. And as Sawan brings the ball and he finds Chant. Chant goes long looking for Knight, contested nicely. As Delianov sits comfortably with the ball at the back. They're really looking to play out from the back here tonight, City. They find Dylan Perez at right back. Dangerous ball. And the referee pulls it back. Bulleen aren't too happy. Neither's the crowd. Yeah. But it certainly seems like we're in for a good contest tonight.
Yeah, it's been a good start to this one, and City understandably looking to use Dylan Perez on the right-hand side, and I mean, why wouldn't you? And this is a kid that's been sort of on the radar for a couple of years now. He burst onto the scene as a teenager against Brisbane Roar a couple of years ago in the A-League when City on that day were ravaged in the senior team, and I think it was even picked by The Guardian as being in, I think it was something like the top 100 young players to look out for. So, I mean, that's it's nothing to be sneezed at. So, if you've got an asset like that in your team, you certainly should use him, as City are.
Mitchell finds Petrescu in the middle. Forced back by City. City are certainly putting on a press when Graham Mitchell's got the ball at right back. Neither team can really find a handle on it. It has been a little bit scrappy to begin with. And plenty of balls given away as Sawan finds Everson. Sawan. And City come out through Josh Cavallo. Cavallo, excellent ball. Oh, White Chant does well. Forces Kolakovsky wide, and it's out for a Bulleen goal kick.
Yeah, good goalkeeping there from Wyatt Chant. Made himself very big, and that, of course, always makes it difficult for attackers. You've either got to come up with a very good touch or a very good strike, and well, in that case, it was neither. But good goalkeeping, and of course, won himself a goal kick in the end for his troubles.
Wyatt Chant's an interesting one, coming from Melbourne Victory Youth. He'll certainly want to get one over Melbourne City, even in the form of the youth side. He was in and out of the Bulleen lineup last year, but he certainly seems to have established himself as Bulleen an excellent header through Perez to get the ball away. Bulleen did well. Perez, an excellent defensive header there, as Delmonico comes up for a throw in an attacking position. As I was saying, White Chant seems to have certainly established himself as the Bulleen number one. They've certainly recruited well for the 2019 season, having come down from the top tier last year, with the likes of Phil Petrescu and Adrian Delmonico coming over from Box Hill. A Chant missed clearance, finds Cavallo, who goes wide, and has just gone wide. My apologies, it was actually Gianluca Iannucci, as I know you've been holding out to pronounce his surname tonight.
Yes, it was actually Rami Najarine on that far side, number 10, who's looking very bright indeed early, and that one obviously just flashing wide. But he's someone that, as we spoke about earlier, Daniel, Bulleen can't afford to allow too much time on the ball or too many chances. He's one of those senior players that we speak of that Melbourne City can really call on and have done this season. So they've got to keep a close eye on that one.
An excellent chance from Bulleen as Daniel McLennan found his way through. A great defensive effort from Melbourne City there to force what is the first corner of the evening. Phil Petrescu seems to be on corner duties. As a left footer, he'll be looking for an outswinger. There's certainly a few big boys coming up for the Bulleen corner, with centre-back Andrew Mullett coming up, Adrian Delmonico from left-back. Melbourne City clear it away through Mark Karlich. Stavridis looking for Mullett, but the ball's too long as it goes out for a Melbourne City goal kick. Not a bad crowd here tonight at the David Barrow Stadium for a Monday night. I think the weather has certainly attracted a bigger crowd than what they probably would have expected, I imagine.
Yeah, it's a nice little crowd, and there were a few people here for the previous match in the 20s as well. So, yeah, it's good, and it is a nice night for it. And I suppose what it does allow, Daniel, is a lot of pressing from both these teams, as we've seen already. It's good pressing conditions. They can go for longer, certainly more than Saturday and Sunday when we saw scorching hot temperatures across Victoria, and that's the kind of thing where you can only manage it so far. But this is a good night for it, as we see a foul and a yellow card here.
Yeah, McLennan went in hard over there, and the referee deemed that reprehensible as he flashed the first card of the game. And it's...
I think it's the skipper.
Yeah, I think it is the captain, Graham Mitchell, who looks to be in a little bit of pain here. The ball came from Chant, who actually allowed Iannucci to get probably a little bit too close for comfort, really. As Graham Mitchell is holding his head. I don't know if there's any blood coming down from there. McLennan preaching his innocence.
Yeah, tough to see from our position, but it does look like Mitch Graham is holding a bit of tissue up to the forehead, which probably suggests a little bit of bleeding. It certainly looks like that from afar. Hopefully he's okay. A little bit of patchwork, and I'm sure he'll be right to carry on. But of course, head injuries, you've always got to be careful with those. And we've seen not only in football but in sport across the world how seriously we're taking head injuries now, and it's good to see. It's probably about time that happened. But yeah, look, Mitch Graham up and running now, and he's going to head off the field, get some treatment. But I'm sure we'll see him back on the pitch very soon.
Carlich seems to be filling in at centre-back while Graham Mitchell continues to receive treatment on the far side. An excellent diagonal ball. Looking for Rami Nazarene. Defended well by Bulleen's skipper. Mullet at centre-back does very well with plenty of composure to bring it out. Bulleen really trying to find their stranglehold on this game as Petreski does well to find Delmonico, the ex-Box Hill teammates. Everson. Referee deems it to be a free kick for Melbourne City. It has been a little bit of a scrappy start here. Neither side can really gain momentum. Melbourne City have probably looked the more dangerous side, but haven't really come up with too many chances as Melbourne City's captain, Mitchell Graham, returns with bandage around his head as Carlich at left back brings it, finds Iannucci, who headers just over the crossbar.
Yeah, nice little effort there from Gianluca Iannucci. Got to agree, Daniel. Probably, I think you're right in saying that Melbourne City have probably been the more dangerous team so far. But yeah, there hasn't really been a lot of rhythm to the game, to be honest. Neither team's really been able to hold possession. It's been sort of a little bit frantic, a little bit cagey, but I think that's partly due to the fact that these conditions tending to favour the pressing game, as we've spoken about a little bit. So both teams, I think, will, as we see here, a lot of pressure. But it's good. It makes for a good game of football, and fortunately, we should be seeing this for longer in this game. It's pretty unlikely that it's really going to hold off, and certainly it probably lends itself towards the end of the game to really opening up a bit.
Well, Joel, I certainly hope you haven't just put a commentator's curse on this game. As Metcalf finds Perez, Kolakovsky, Iannucci finds a ball at the back post, who finds, I believe it's Nazarene. Excellent defensive effort there from the Bulleen defender, and that was probably Melbourne City's nicest play so far.
Yeah, lovely touch, lovely cross firstly from Gianluca Iannucci, and then the touch to bring that down from Nazarene was delightful, and that's the best of what he can do as Melbourne City prepare the corner here, but a good chance.
Cavallo on corner duties, looking for Iannucci, but Mullet too strong there. A nice counter-attack from Bulleen, but Delianov quick off his line as he clears the ball. Ball given to Petreski under plenty of pressure, but he does well. Perez does well to take the ball off Delmonico. Throw certainly not given to Hatzigeorgio's advantage as Bulleen skipper Lutma comes through right back. Nazarene does well to get a foot in. Cavallo comes through. Metcalf. Metcalf makes an excellent run. Deemed no foul by the referee. Excellent ball by Perez. Metcalf and Perez certainly seem to be linking up quite nicely as two of the senior boys in the Melbourne City side as the ball falls through for a Bulleen goal kick.
Yeah, and that's what you want. You always want your elder statesmen, so to speak, in Dylan Perez and Connor Metcalf. Of course, very much youngsters still in their own right, which is why they're playing in this particular competition. But yeah, you want them getting on the ball and really showing the way. And Dylan Perez on the right hand side in particular has been fairly dangerous going forward.
While City have been coming through Metcalf and Perez, for Bulleen, they really seem to be going through the engine room of Phil Petreski. Melbourne City certainly aren't giving him the time that he needs as Ben Everson draws a foul. Petreski's really the sort of player that the more time you give him, the more dangerous he can be, and that was probably shown last year when he took out the NPL 2 East Player of the Year in a struggling Box Hill side. Finds McLennan, who finds his way through 6 yard, and he skies his shot, which is probably, Joel, their brightest part of the night so far.
Yeah, it probably has been. I mean, they had a chance a little bit earlier, Bulleen, which was blocked out of play and didn't really trouble James Delianov. But, yeah, look, Bulleen probably need to maybe just get their foot on the ball a little bit, which is hard, as we've spoken about in this particular game, because there's such a pressing mentality in this game from both teams. But I think they could probably do with just a little bit of possession and maybe slowing things down a touch. With such a high press on City's goal kicks, they certainly struggled to get out through that one. As Hatzigeorgio was able to bring it out through Delianov. As Mark Karlich takes it through the left. He's one-on-one with Bulleen's skipper. He's able to get around. He's into the box as he's surrounded by 3 defenders. He cuts back. Nice save by Chant as Bulleen clear the ball. Metcalf. Perez. Metcalf. Hatzigeorgio. An excellent piece of skill there by Iannucci, who finds Kolakovsky on the edge of the box. Cavallo with his right. Chance scrambling backwards, but in the end he does well. And City certainly starting to get some sort of stranglehold on this game as Petreski gets into plenty of trouble there. And, certainly a cynical foul there, as Iannucci seemed to have make his way towards goal. Petreski isn't happy with his goalkeeper, Chant, there. Yeah, very risky play indeed at the back, and look, that's probably where you just want your goalkeeper to clear the danger and not overplay the ball in that position. Certainly across goal as well. So obviously it's resulted now in a free kick in a very dangerous position indeed for Melbourne City, and a clear yellow card there. As you say, Daniel, a cynical foul, professional foul, if you like.
We've got 3 players standing over it. Rami Nazarene, or 2 now, as Cavallo walks away, but Rami Nazarene and Connor Metcalf both standing over it, who here offers their seniority and takes this. It's either Nazarene on his left or Metcalf on his right. Who's this for you, Joel?
I think we might see Rami Nazarene take this one, but you never know, potentially. We've got Lucas Portelli standing over it as well, but I think that would be nothing more than a decoy, you would have thought. He's taking it.
Metcalf. Sails just wide as Chant just watched it, stuck with glue under his boots there, I think, as Bulleen set up for a goal kick. My apologies to Lucas Portelli. In fact, it wasn't Connor Metcalf. I was pumping up his boots there, and he wasn't even standing over the free kick.
Number 3 does look a bit like the number 8 from afar, especially on the white shorts with the light blue number there.
It's not often you see a centre-back come up for a free kick just 20 yards out from the boxes. Del Monaco tries to find McLennan. Goes down under a challenge from Portelli. The referee says no. And not only has he said no, he's also given a Bulleen corner after it seemed to come off Bulleen player last. Big boys come up for Bulleen once again. Mullet's in there. Del Monaco. Captain Eli Lutma. City defending a combination of zonal and man marking. Finding Del Monaco, who flicks his head to the back post as Mullet gets there. The City do well to clear. as Nazarene finds himself 2-on-1. And Bulleen captain Eli Lutmer just clears as it comes off a City player for a Bulleen throw. Everson finds himself away, surrounded by 2 City players. He does well to skip through 2, looking for McLennan, but cleared by Melbourne City defender Portelli, who seems to be everywhere at the moment.
Yeah, 1 minute he's up taking a free kick, which had a very good shape on it indeed, Daniel, and then just tidying up at the back nicely. It's what you want from a centre back who goes up and takes free kicks. We don't really see a whole lot of those. We usually see him on the end of those deliveries. But I think I recall players like Patrick Zvansvijk in the A-League coming up and taking some free kicks, and the name escapes me at the moment, but there was one particular A-League player from a centre-half who always used to come up and hit the flattest free kicks, and not sure what the kind of success rate was.
McLennan looking for a header. He seemed to try and get it goalward, but it actually went the opposite direction as it fell to Mark Karlich, who does well to find Iannucci. Excellent ball. As City stream forward, they've got 4-5 attackers through Josh Cavallo. An excellent crossfield pass looking for Dylan Perez, who takes a nice touch. Metcalf, about 25 yards with his left foot, looking for a backstick pass as it rolls out. And he just can't get the shape that he was looking for onto that.
I worked it out, Daniel. The centre-back, Geordie Boyce, former Sydney FC centre-back. He always used to come up and take free kicks and try the Ronaldo-esque flight of the ball. I don't think it worked too many times.
Surely 1 or 2 went in. Otherwise, he would have been given the boot, as Bulleen fittingly give it the boot as Dylan Perez comes away with it at right back. Graham finds Karlich. Hatzigeorgia does well to cover Karlich, but Bulleen come away with it. Sawan. Karlich works back to get the ball. Portelli, an excellent crossfield ball looking for Perez. Takes a heavy first touch. As we tick over the halfway mark, or just past the halfway mark of the first half. Metcalf. Can't quite thread the needle as Petreski comes away with it. Looking for McLennan. McLennan through. But Delianov, quick off his line. I've really been impressed with how quick Delianov has come off his line. There's been 2 or 3 opportunities that Bulleen have been looking out through the back, but he hasn't allowed the space. He certainly is an experienced goalkeeper at this level. As Bulleen come out through the right side, through Josh Knight. Finds his way past Karlich, who gets a cross in, looking for Everson. Says no, goes to the Lutmer, but Lutmer hits it with his right as it sails. Probably just didn't have enough time to take that extra touch that he needed to find his composure and get a shot on target.
Right idea. It would have been a spectacular goal had that have gone in. Very nice technique, but just couldn't quite get over it enough. And in the end, there was only one place it was going to go into that netting behind the goal there. But interesting point that you make, Daniel, about James Delianov. I think it's pretty much commonplace now for goalkeepers to be that sweeper keeper type player and come off their line and almost be an 11th player and really be on the top of their box pretty much at all times and really offer that extra player and that extra cover at the back. It's really come about in the last sort of 10 years or so. I think we've really seen that with the likes of Barcelona and Manchester City. Those kind of philosophies have really brought that.
Perez trying to find his way through Delmonico, and he certainly does that. Delmonico tugs. He gets a shot off, and it sails just wide again. They certainly seem to be attacking that left side. Dylan Perez did very well there to get a shot off, but it just probably wasn't the right angle for a right footer to bend it into the far post. Chant. Karlic wins a free header. Finds Cavallo. I quite like what Bulleen are doing in terms of pressing high, but there certainly seems to be some sort of downfall within the press. And all you need is one or two players to not do their job, and the press falls apart. And City certainly seem to be, comparing to the beginning of the game, finding their way out a lot easier over the last 10-15 minutes. As McLennan does well, but Pereira does better. McMurrigal Ehas. McLennan. Mullet. Looking for McLennan. I've really been impressed with Hatzigeorgio playing in the number 6 role. He's coming out nicely to not only receive the ball from the goalkeeper and the centre-backs, but he's playing beautifully forward. And really, when you're playing out from the back, you really need that midfielder who can play forward.
Yeah, he's had a good game. Sitting in front of the back four nicely. And as you say, Daniel, he has been... he's been really all over the place in this half, and in a good way, that is. All over the pitch. And as you say, I think certainly you need that link man, that number 6, if you're going to play this kind of way, especially in this frantic pace as we see a foul here.
We certainly were expecting a free-flowing, high-scoring match, and what we've got so far is a stop-start, 0-0 draw.
Yeah, anything but.
Cavallo finds his way through 2 Bulleen defenders, looking for the back stick. Mullet does well to clear as Lutma finds Sarwan. As Bulleen come through Sarwan, Everson. Heavy challenge there. Everson comes through. Nearly fell through there for McLennan. But Connor Metcalf plays nicely out to Dylan Perez. Iannucci. Perez has made an excellent overlapping run. Finds himself on the byline. Looking to cut back onto the 6-yard. Falls to Cavallo. Excellently blocked by Bulleen player. It doesn't seem to have gone through as Chant now picks up. As City certainly seem to be attacking that left side, as we keep saying. And sooner than later, it certainly looks like they're going to find a breakthrough.
Yeah, it certainly seems that way. That was a great attack. Probably, I think, the best of the game, the most free-flowing of the game. It only seems a matter of time, Daniel, until Melbourne City finally do find this breakthrough. Bulleen really being stretched now. A good little bit of intent before, though, going the other way, and that's probably what they need, Bulleen. A little bit of intent, but, I mean, for mine, they just need to just put their foot on the ball and just knock it around a bit, slow things down, and just try and wrestle back a bit of control over this match, because it's really getting away from them at the moment as Connor Metcalf picks it up there. But they just need to just pick the ball up and just sort of slow things down and change the pace of the game a little bit, make Melbourne City press them and use up a bit of energy, because at the moment it's all one-way traffic.
Mullet. Looking for McLennan. Finds himself one-on-one with the captain. It's an excellent save by Delianov. McLennan did very well to find Ben Everson there, who found himself one-on-one with Delianov, and Delianov remained big and pulled off an excellent save for another Bulleen corner.
Yeah, well, Ben Everson's looked good in the last couple of minutes. He was the one charging through the middle there in Bulleen's last attack, and obviously in the end didn't quite come off, but that was a nice little play there, and what a save by James Delianov. That's what you want your keeper to do, make himself nice and big, come off his line and get things away.
Petreski on dead ball duties. Looking for Delmonico, the front stick falls through as Portelli clears. I think the danger for Melbourne City here is that because they're playing a high line, Bulleen are really looking for that ball over the top. They've probably had one or two opportunities that Delinov have come out and sweep that up, but in the wider channels, where he's obviously not able to get to as quickly, that's probably the danger for Melbourne City, as they probably do have a stranglehold on this match in terms of possession and attacking opportunities.
Yeah, the counter-attack is the danger, and Melbourne City are going to have to be wary of that as they get more and more on top. But I mean, for Bulleen, I mean, you don't really want to be playing that counter-attacking game. I mean, it's all well and good to play like that, but I mean, you probably don't want to be sitting back inviting pressure for too long, of course, and really depending on that counter-attack. You want to have some control of the game themselves. So look, it is a bit of a risky style, but mind you, Daniel, if it does come off, then they'll be laughing.
Metcalf. Perez, Metcalf, looking for the 1-2. McMonagle has able to clear, but only as far as Hatzigeorgiou. Looking for a little flick through, but Delmonico does well. Hatzigeorgiou. Karlich. Nice crossfield pad, looking for Metcalf, but it only falls to Nazarene. He's on his left. One-on-one, finds Metcalf. Hatzigeorgiou looks for a quick shot. Probably wasn't able to get over it as he would have liked as Chant watches it sail over the crossbar. But certainly some promising play there from Melbourne City.
Yeah, nice shape on that effort from Nicholas Hatzigeorgiou. He's having a very, very good half. We've spoken a lot about him defensively and sort of just occupying the hole and sitting back in front of the back four. But he got forward nicely there, and I suppose when you can add that extra number, it's always of benefit as well. And you could probably argue, Daniel, that he's probably been the best player on the pitch in this first half. Dylan Perez, I think, has been very good as well as Connor Metcalf. I suppose given that they have had control of this game, Melbourne City, those two, of course, are going to be up there in the reckoning, but they have been very, very good indeed.
Karlich. Iannucci. Iannucci again finds himself on the left wing. Goes down, referee says no foul, as Everson loses out to Melbourne City captain. Kolakovsky does well to cut in. Unable to find Nazarene's feet as Delmonico looking for the run of McLennan. 1-on-1 against Portelli. Referee says no foul. McLennan not too happy, but in my opinion, Portelli's done very well there.
Indeed, no foul there. Nothing to report. It was just good defending, I think.
I've been quite impressed with Portelli. He is a big boy, and he's certainly very comfortable on the ball. Bringing the ball out and finding those passes into Melbourne City's midfielders' feet. Excellent ball. Looking for Iannucci, who must have thought that Cavallo was making a run at the back post, and I think he must have got his lines confused there, because Cavallo was at least 10 metres behind where I think he thought he was.
Well, it seemed like Gianluca Iannucci just misjudged that ball in flight, because it was a wonderful delivery from Rami Nazarene, had a great shape on it, and seemingly it was almost a free header in the area, but it just seemed to lose it in flight. It really didn't seem to be much more than that, Daniel. Probably a little bit of a bizarre incident there, because that probably could have been something for Melbourne City there.
Petreski finds Sarwan, looking for the run. That's an excellent ball. Delianov does well. Linesman calls offside. Delianov did excellently well to come out there, demand his area, and takes a comfortable catch despite the offside call. Not only has Delianov impressed me playing in that sweeper-keeper role, but his foot skills have been second to none. As Melbourne City come away here, looking for Iannucci, but the linesman's called it offside. Delianov's really impressed me with his foot skills. He's able to find both full-backs, as Bulleen are really trying to press them up high. Having that sort of weapon is so beneficial to your side, because it means that you're able to play out from the back sufficiently.
Yeah, absolutely. Big raps on James Delinov at Melbourne City. He's been in and amongst the senior squad a few times this season. He was on the bench, I believe, if I recall, against Brisbane Roar, thanks to an injury to Mark Birighitti a bit earlier in the season. But that's sort of all he's really seen of the senior team in the A-League. But yeah, look, we spoke before about the modern goalkeeper, and certainly part of that is that goalkeepers have to have good foot skills. They don't often make it these days, goalkeepers, if they don't have that in their kit bag.
Everson does well. Iannucci does better as the ball comes off Everson for a Melbourne City throw. Cavallo, under pressure from Sawan, gives up the ball to McLennan. McLennan finds Everson. Everson dancing around in the box, looks for a ball across the face, a goal, but Perez done well to get there and clear it for a Bulleen corner. I feel like if Bulleen are going to break the deadlock, it's certainly going to come from a set piece. Despite Melbourne City's height, I do feel like these are the sorts of opportunities that Bulleen need to take a hold of.
Yeah, well, if you're going to be that counter-attacking team, there's only going to be so many opportunities for you, so you've really got to make the most of these set pieces when you're not the dominant side.
Petreski, an excellent effort there by the Bulleen captain, Eli Lutma. He just wasn't able to put it on to target as we enter into the 40th minute mark. Cavallo does well to get around Sawan. Iannucci, one-on-one with Lutma. Finds Karlich. Nice little run there by Cavallo, but Bulleen do well to clear. Finds the feet of McLennan. Does well to hold up the ball. Who finds Knight, looking for a 1-2 with McLennan. Finds himself one-on-one with the Melbourne City captain. Delinov under pressure. Does very well to find Portelli. Metcalf, City have done beautifully to come out there. As the ball finds itself, Perez, who finds Metcalf, under the pressure of Sawan. Dancing forward, 20 yards out, takes strike on his left. Comfortable save by Chant. As Melbourne City played their way beautifully out through the back there to register a shot on target. Looking for Everson. Free header from Portelli. Graham. Nazarene. Finds Iannucci in the middle. Does really well to get through there. Sawan just was only able to watch him dance past. Iannucci. Hatzigiorgio does his best to... But Bulleen break away and find Everson on the top of the 18. One-on-one, does well to get around one. Trips over, but does well to keep the ball. Finds Josh Knight on the top of the box, who wasn't able to execute his pass. As Cavallo breaks through. Finds Kolakowski on the edge of the box, 3v4. Kolakowski dances, finds Cavallo on his left, found his way into the top corner. Chant was unable to do anything about that as Melbourne City take the lead in the 43rd minute to go up 1-0. That was an excellent goal from Melbourne City.
Wonderful strike there by Josh Cavallo. Terrific play, lightning counter-attack. And it was the slip in midfield from Bulleen that really opened everything up, that really left them for dead. But wonderful play from Melbourne City. There's been a few of those sort of attacks in this first half. And, with the half drawing to a close, a great time to score for them, bad time to concede for Bulleen. But it seemed, Daniel, that it was really only a matter of time until Melbourne City made the most of one of those quick counter-attacks. And, they finally did it, and in what style as well.
An excellent strike from Josh Cavallo. A product of the NTC. His brother Christian also making his way around Melbourne Victory and Melbourne City, and now applying his trade for Dandenong Thunder in the top tier NPL as Bulleen restart with only a few minutes till half time. McLennan draws the foul, as Bulleen seem to be setting up for an attacking free kick about 5 metres in front of the halfway line. Petreski. Delianov comes out for it. Referee says no foul. Play on. Mullet. Bit of ping pong going around in the box. City able to clear. Sarwan and Petreski, the only two back. Sarwan finds Mullet on the left. Hatsu Giorgio. Mullet looking for Everson. Delmonico, far from left back. Finds Everson. Able to turn. Tries to slip. Bulleen get a cross in. Goal to Bulleen. I think it's Daniel McLennan who was able to get his head onto the ball to equalise for Bulleen City. And in a matter of minutes, we've gone from a 0-0 stop-start game to an end-to-end 1-1 draw.
Yeah, well, this game was already really alive. It was just missing the goals. But suddenly we've got two in the space of probably the same amount of minutes. But, what we saw there was really what Bulleen can get in Ben Everson. Held the ball up brilliantly on the top of the box and just allowed that flow, that play, I should say, to flow. And that was the reason Bulleen were able to get themselves in that position. Great cross across the box. And, you could argue that maybe they don't deserve to be level, but they have troubled Melbourne City a few times on the break. But look, 1-1, Daniel, probably not a reflection of the first half, I'd say. But that was smart play from Bulleen. They really used their big target man up front, Ben Everson, because he is a big boy. So look, it certainly sets up an interesting second half. There's not long to go in this first half.
Nazarene looking for the back stick, looking for Kolakovsky, but Bulleen were able to clear. Who finds McLennan. Surrounded by 3 Melbourne City defenders, and he does well to draw the foul there. Heading into the halftime break, if you're coach of Melbourne City, what do you say?
Well, yeah, it's been an interesting half. I think if you're Joe Palacides, I think you've probably just got to say almost just keep on doing what you're doing, because Melbourne City, pound for pound, have been the better team in this half. They've created the better chances, and probably one lapse at the back has allowed Bulleen Lions in. So it'll be interesting to see what exactly he says going into the sheds at half time. But look, if you're Melbourne City, you're probably fairly pleased with what's happened in this first half. It's probably just a finishing touch that they've missed more often than not. But they're getting themselves into some good areas. They're really attacking quickly. So look, there's certainly some positives to take there. But of course, it's the one stat that matters, goals, and it's currently 1-1. So that will be of probably the biggest concern. But look, Melbourne City have played well overall this half.
Portelli. Nice crossfield pass, looking for Kolakovsky. Bulleen sitting back here. Cavallo finds Karlich. Nice interplay. Kolakovsky, 19 yards out. A decent effort, but he just wasn't able to get that dip on to trouble Chant. as he watches the ball sail over. Joel, on the flip side, Bulleen are probably playing the game that they came out here to play, looking for that counter, and they have scored that goal, so they won't be going into the halftime break a goal down. Would you say the coach is happy as the halftime whistle goes?
Well, absolutely. I mean, as we've seen, Daniel, Bulleen have been playing that counter-attacking style of game, and it finally came off for them towards the end of the half there. And we said it was a great time for Melbourne City to score and a bad time to concede, but great time for Bulleen to answer a couple of minutes later and score again. But so yeah, look, they'll be very, very pleased indeed. I mean, certainly, I don't think they can be too happy because they've been second best in this half, but look, they've been able to sort of set out on the break, and they found themselves a goal. And against this Melbourne City team that's pushing to go top of the table, I think going into half-time 1-1, you've got to be very, very pleased indeed. But certainly things they can work on indeed.
Well, as the teams head into the break, we will certainly be having a break as well. We'll be back for the second half at David Barris Stadium. Join us on Facebook or YouTube. You are watching Bulleen versus Melbourne City. It's currently 1-1 at halftime.
I think so, Daniel. And look, if you're Melbourne City, you're just going to keep doing what you're doing. They were on top in that first half, well and truly. Bulleen only sort of came into it late in the piece and were really using the counter-attack a lot. So it'll be interesting to see if they can try and get a foothold, is what I'm looking for early in this half. If they can just step on the ball, slow things down, play it around, and make Melbourne City press them and try to change up the tempo of the game and try to reverse fortunes. Because, look, certainly if I was in their shoes, I wouldn't want to be spending the entire second half on the break, even though in some respects they've made good use of it.
Well, they're certainly playing a direct brand of football in the second half in the early minutes. Find Josh Knight on the edge of the box. Phil Petreski. Mark Karlich does well to get in front there. Melbourne City haven't really touched the ball in the early minutes of this second half. Bulleen are certainly trying their best to set the tempo. Chant looking for Captain Lutma. Takes a nice touch with his chest. Stavridis. They're really, really trying to take advantage of McLennan's size up front there. Certainly looking for him as early as they can. And asking for the likes of Josh Knight to feed off him. And Everson. They certainly don't seem to be pressing them as high as they were in the first half. As Melbourne City's captain, Graham, who seems to have lost his head dressing from his first half head clash. Nice header back by Lutma. Finds the safe hands of Chant.
Good start to the half this by Bulleen. They've really sort of done what we thought they had to do in this half, getting on the ball early, sort of setting the tempo of the game, knocking it around a little bit. And they've gone with the long ball again here, which probably was the wrong option in that respect. But, I mean, they've got two big men up forward. It certainly worked for them in their first attack of the half. But, look, this is what we wanted to see. Just Bulleen getting on the ball and just sort of slowing things down a little bit, getting it on their terms, and that's really going to help them.
Perez finds Nazarene. Metcalf. I've been really impressed with Connor Metcalf, especially in the first half. His technical ability is first class and it's really on show here tonight, both with his left foot and his right foot. He's really taken charge of that midfield. And City's midfield, which have really dominated in the first half, haven't actually allowed Bulleen to come through the middle as Cavallo finds himself on the top of the box. Some nice footwork past Eli Lutma. Looking for the back post. Delmonico does well, but only as far as Metcalf. 20 yards out. Tries to get a cross off. A shot, rather. Nazarene on his left. Looking for the back stick. But it sails just wide. An excellent opportunity there for Melbourne City to take back the lead. Interesting to see how Melbourne City set up for this Bulleen goal kick. They're almost allowing Bulleen centre-back George Stavridis to bring the ball up, and only once it's in do they press him and force him long, where he looks for Everson and McLennan. McLennan one-on-one with Hatzigeorgiou. I have been impressed with Daniel McLennan. He does seem most likely to create some sort of opportunity for Bulleen as they find their way at early cross, but Delianov safe hands as City look to break through Connor Metcalf. Nazarene. Pereira, rather, on his left. White Chan, not quite sure what happened there. Cavallo's the first there. It's gone out for a corner. I think White Chan just must have mistaken where the ball actually was, because what seemed like a pretty ordinary shot has resulted in a Melbourne City corner.
Well, that should have been regulation. I'm not quite sure what White Chant was was doing there, but hearts in mouth stuff as that ball just rolled across the goal line, and you felt, Daniels, it was only inevitable that it was going to go in.
Melbourne City corner, falls to Hatzigeorgiou, finds Iannucci. Bulleen able to clear as Perez comes away with the ball. McMonagle has. McLennan does very well to rob Hatzigeorgiou. Tries to take on Carledge. Carledge certainly has him for speed and is able to come away with it through Connor Metcalf once again. Most of Melbourne City's attacks are coming through Connor Metcalf. Carledge did really well because McLennan certainly had the momentum there. Portelli. Graham. Carledge, who finds himself back at his native left back. Hatzigeorgiou. Kolakowski, Carledge. Cavallo finds himself one-on-one with the Bulleen captain, Lutma. Kolakowski, Carledge. Cavallo. Some nice technical play. Kolakowski on his right, sails past the near post as Chant just watches it go through. Some really nice technical interplay there between the likes of Mark Carledge, Stefan Kolakowski and Josh Cavallo in what was an incredibly good opportunity for them to take back the lead once again.
Yeah, very exciting piece of play there from Melbourne City, and you like what Stefan Kolakowski's offering, even though you wouldn't say he's been the most involved figure in this game. Daniel's a chance for Bulleen, but the flag's up from the linesman offside. But certainly Stefan Kolakowski, what he has been is very lively. He's given them an option, and he's always looking to do a step over or two or run at his man, and that's exactly what he did there. Some good play, and fired the shot just wide in the end.
Knight. Looking for McLennan's feet, does well to hold it up. Looking again for the run of Knight. Knight's able to take a good first touch. He's going for goal there. It's across the face for Everson. He's made an excellent run back post. I don't know that Josh Knight was shooting or crossing the ball, but Everson was able to get a foot on it. Just wasn't able to direct it goalward past James Delianov.
Well, from where we're sitting, it looks like a terrible miss from Ben Everson, but outstretched. Tough one to control, but look, certainly from that position, you probably back your striker in to score from there. Big missed opportunity for Bulleen, and probably could be in the lead, and it's been a good half for them so far, and that chance was a byproduct of what they've done in this half. They've controlled the game a little bit, and you could probably make a case for them being the better side in this half. They've probably had the better opportunities, I think. Melbourne City have had a couple, probably the best chance of the half, but Bulleen have certainly really come into their own and are really giving Melbourne City some grief in attack.
Iannucci finds Cavallo. Cavallo back to Kolakowski, looking back stick for Hatzigeorgiou, who hits the side netting. A few Melbourne City supporters behind the goal, I think, saw the ball creep in. It wasn't to be, as the net rippled. But again, some exciting interplay on this left side through the likes of Iannucci and Kolakowski, who certainly has come out in this second half firing. Dodgy pass there from Stavridis. Chant does well to clear. Metcalf. Hatzigeorgiou. Finds Carledge. Looking for Cavallo. But Bulleen's captain, Lutma, steps in. Looking for the long pass there for Everson. Finds it. Delianov's off his line. He wasn't able to get the arch that he probably needed to loop over Delianov. But certainly promising moment there for Bulleen. After they lost it through a mispass in the midfield. Melbourne City are certainly thinking twice now about Bulleen when they were pretty comfortable in the first half, as Cavallo takes a nice touch, or what seemed like a nice touch, before Stavridis was able to clear. Everson looking for McLennan, able to get there. Graham finds Karlich. Cavallo. Cavallo one-on-one with Stavridis. Recycles the ball to Iannucci. Finds his way. Petreski does well to get his foot in. Sarwan. Everson. Surrounded by 3 Melbourne City players. Iannucci comes away with it as he finds Metcalf in the middle of the ground. Back to Iannucci. Nice little turn there. On his right foot. 20 yards out. Tries to get his curl on. Just wasn't able to curl it enough into the top corner as Chant will line up for another goal kick.
Wonderful play there from the young Socceroo, Gianluca Iannucci. Very tidy feet indeed, and well, unfortunately, in the end, that strike wasn't quite on target and probably missed by a long way. But he's having a good game as well. Hasn't really been overly prominent in this particular half. He was good in the first half, but has gone out of the game a little bit. So, look, good moment there because probably wants to get himself back in the game. He's been a little bit peripheral in the opening part of this game as Bulleen look to launch another counter-attack again.
I've quite liked Bulleen captain's Eli Lutmer's game. Plenty of Bulleen's attacking opportunities are coming through their right back and captain Eli Lutmer. As Hatzigeorgios was able to escape Josh Knight. Excellent pass through the midfield line. Finds Connor Metcalf. Perez. Nazarene. Metcalf. Looking for a backstick run of Iannucci. Stavridis too strong. Knight. Lutmer. Looking for that long pass of McLennan. He's got time there. Takes a nice touch on his chest. Finds Everson, who finds himself offside, but they certainly do seem to be getting a lot of success when the ball comes out to Lutmer, who then is looking for Everson and McLennan, who seem to be actually causing the Melbourne City defence a fair bit of trouble.
Yeah, well, the hold-up play has been a bit better in this half. They struggled to hold the ball, Bulleen, in the first half, but look, McLennan and Everson are really seeing a bit of it in this half, and they're having a bit of joy, and well, as we saw a bit earlier, Everson had a great chance for Bulleen to take the lead, couldn't quite take it, but look, the strikers are certainly in the game as they get another opportunity here, Bulleen.
Everson. Portelli does well to cover. I guess what you will find at this level is the Melbourne City players, who certainly do seem technically superior, might struggle in the physicality department, whereas Bulleen have some big boys like your McLennans and your Eversons, who will cause them all sorts of trouble. But it certainly is a learning curve for these young Melbourne City boys.
Yeah, well, that's what they get from playing at this NPL level. They play men's football, and spoke to Shea Harrison, of course, in the A-League side on Daily Football Show, and what he was most looking forward to about coming to the A-League was just playing men's football, which is something that he wasn't quite getting in England, and it's the same for these Melbourne City players here.
Everson complaining that he was held back there. The referee said no. Portelli did very well. Hatzigeorgiou. Their defensive setup, Bulleen, this second half is certainly more impressive because they're not actually allowing the likes of Hatzigeorgiou onto the ball. Bulleen's number 8, Josh Knight, is following him wherever he goes. And it's causing plenty of turnovers in Melbourne City's midfield, which we weren't actually seeing in the first half. Daniel McLennan's done very well there to keep the ball off 3 Melbourne City players to find his captain, Lutmer, and he's back with the ball. Finds Sarwan, who finds himself one-on-one with Metcalf. And it's an excellent attacking piece by Bulleen. McLennan was surrounded there by 3 different Melbourne City players, was able to find Lutmer, back to McLennan, back to Sarwan, who was then able to force a corner in what will be their first set piece for the second half. McLennan seems to be holding his hamstring or perhaps a little bit of cramp so early in the second half is a little bit worrying for them.
Yeah, just look to be stretching out a bit of cramp there. But you certainly, if you're Bulleen, you don't want to be losing McLennan. He's really come into the game, so you want your big striker, particularly at set pieces, like these to be prominent, and looks like he's okay, and he's getting up for the corner now.
Petreski remains on set-piece duties, looking for a front post. It's cleared there by Karlich. When Melbourne City are counter-attacking now. Iannucci travelling with the ball. It's 3-on-4. Kolakowski, finds a nice pass to Perez, who's sprinted from his defensive duties all the way into Bulleen's defensive box. It did look dangerous, as Iannucci now comes away with the ball. Perez. There seems to be two balls on the pitch there, because Delmonico was actually playing one ball, and Melbourne City were playing with another ball.
Multi-ball.
And so the referee said, let's stop it there.
I think you have to in that in that situation. Can't have two balls on the pitch, Daniel. But bit of multi-ball. Why not?
Karlich bounces Cavallo. Graham. Looking for fullback Perez, who's unable to keep the ball in. Linesman's got his flag up. Little opportunities like that, which probably give Bulleen a little bit of confidence, because those sorts of things didn't seem to be happening in the first half, and that's where doubt can creep into these young boys' minds. As Bulleen come away with it, through McMonagle, Ehas, out for another Bulleen corner, after what seemed a pretty heavy clash there.
Well, Melbourne City's level here, Daniel, certainly look to have dropped somewhat. Bulleen are really into this game now, and certainly the case for them being the better side at the moment is just getting stronger and stronger. And if you had to probably call either of these two sides to score, you'd probably back Bulleen at the moment to be the ones to score next. And another corner for them. And look, we spoke in the first half about the fact they need to make the most of these corners. They're probably of less importance now, but if they can make the most of this, then they're in a good position, and it comes in.
Looking for McLennan. Melbourne City able to get there first. A dodgy header there, but Stavridis does incredibly well, as Nazarene was ready to pounce, and it's out for another Bulleen throw.
It's probably the first time this half we've called Rami Nazarene's name as well. He hasn't had the ball a whole lot. City just haven't been able to find him, and that probably speaks volumes of the fact that Bulleen have really been able to come back into the game. It's a testament to what they've done.
Mullet forced back. Stavridis. Delmonico with an overlap. Isn't given the ball, looking for McLennan, who takes an interesting touch. Delianov came for it, wasn't able to get it, as Dylan Perez finds his way out at the right back. Nazarene finds Metcalf, takes a touch backwards to Perez. Metcalf. They can't seem to get Hatzigeorgio on the ball. He's being marked out of this game really nicely by Josh Schneiders. Another interception from Bulleen. Melbourne City can't seem to get their groove on, because Bulleen's defensive efforts in this second half have been enormous.
Well, Hatzigeorgio's influence has really dropped as well, and he was the fulcrum for Melbourne City in the first half. Still is, but certainly had a lot less of the ball. And while the fact that they've taken him out of the game, Bulleen is one of the things that they've done to really get themselves back in this. Connor Metcalf is still getting quite a bit of ball, but Hatzigeorgio really hasn't been able to carry the ball from defence into midfield and really be that link man, and that's where Melbourne City have fallen down a little bit.
Well, what it has done is it's put a lot of pressure onto Metcalf's shoulders, as Everson does really well. Probably couldn't get that ball in front of him. As an excellent ball here for McLennan. McLennan looks to chip Delianov, and Delianov makes a great save. He certainly is a big boy, Delianov, so to be able to chip him would be seriously impressive, as Stavridis does well here. 1-on-1 with Kolakowski. Dangerous opportunity there for Bulleen, and as you said, Joel, they certainly looked the more likely to score the opening goal of this second half.
Yeah, that would have been some kind of goal there. It's actually not the first time, Bulleen, if we recall, that they've tried that on James Delianov. Probably the first time was probably the more realistic opportunity, you'd have to say. But look, you feel, Daniel, as though eventually Bulleen are going to make another one of these chances count because, as we said, Delianov come out here, very, very nice sweeping, but they've given the ball away and it's cleared over. But look, Bulleen, they're right on top now. There's no doubt about that. As Melbourne City prepare a change here.
Believe Gianluca Iannucci is going to be coming off, replaced by Sam Morrison. It'll certainly be interesting to see how this changes Melbourne City going forward, because Iannucci's kind of been central to their attacking opportunities, certainly in the first half, less so in the second half, and they've really relied on the likes of Kolakovsky and Cavallo. Even left-back Mark Karlich has really been able to foray forward in this second half as Everson comes forward. Nice overlap by Delmonico on his left foot. Looking there for Josh McMonagle-Ehas, who wasn't able to wrap his foot around it. As Melbourne City are really under the pump here.
Yeah, they absolutely are, and look, certainly Iannucci in the first half, as you say, Daniel, it was very good, but his influence, like many others in this City side, has just faded a bit. And a good time for some fresh legs, certainly, because they really do need some. And it's given away here.
An excellent save there by Delianov. McLennan wasn't able to bury the ball. Melbourne City rather, were probably being a little bit too cute playing with the ball there, almost inside of their 6-yard box. And they weren't able to clear their lines. But Delianov trumped McLennan as Mark Karlich finds Cavallo. Kolakovsky. Karlich finds his way forward. Rajanine. Hatzigeorgios. 18 yards out on his left. No appeal for a handball as Chant picks up the ball and Bulleen look for another way forward. McLennan and Everson. Portelli does well to clean up there. I think Melbourne City are getting a little bit nervous when they're looking for these long balls between McLennan and Everson. They're linking up certainly significantly better than they were in the first half. And I can see why Bulleen have scored so many goals in the first 2 rounds of the season. Getting plenty of success going wide. Stavridis. Don't think he meant to find Josh Knight, but he certainly did. About 30 yards out. An excellent shot. A great save by Delianov. And Portelli clears. Only to Lutma, who finds Everson. Finds Lutma right back. Looking for McLennan. But falls to Everson. Sarwan. A nice pass looking for Delmonico, who's found his way up from left back. A nice little dinky looking for McLennan. Wasn't able to get his foot on it. Eli Lutner. Cavallo only as far as Sarwan. Melbourne City are really under the pump here. Everson, Sarwan. Melbourne City certainly cannot clear their lines. Bulleen are really looking the more likely here. They're putting the pressure on. They're finding success going wide, and they just aren't able to find that last touch to find a lead in this second half.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're keeping the pressure on. And look, long-range strikes as well, as we just saw. Just keep the pressure on James Delianov. Keep him on his toes. Keep Melbourne City guessing. But look, Bulleen, certainly, we keep on saying it, but the momentum has absolutely shifted in this game as we see a long throw-in.
Harrison done really well there to get a foot on. Delmonico finds his keeper in Chan and then opens up nicely. But as the freshest player on the park, Harrison certainly looked dangerous there. And I guess that's what Bulleen need to be wary of as Everson comes away. He's one-on-one with Portelli. And Portelli finds himself trumping Everson, who finds Nazarene. Who then fouls a Bulleen player, much to his own team's frustration. I think what Bulleen need to be wary of is similar to what Melbourne City need to be wary of in the first half, which is while they're dominating and not scoring, you need to be careful of the counter-attack as Melbourne City are making their second substitute for the game, with number 4, Nicholas Hatzigeorgiou, coming off, while Luca Tavere is coming on in the centre of the park.
Yeah, interesting change because Nicholas Hatzigeorgiou had a very, very good first half indeed, Daniel, but probably central to Bulleen's changing of the momentum in this half. They've really gone to work on him, and his influence just sort of faded away a little bit and didn't have as much space to work in that half. They really did put the clamps on him. He just couldn't move the ball as often from defence through midfield and up front, which is what he was doing so well in the first half. So, look, Joe Palacetti's really bringing in the fresh legs now, and look, it's certainly something that Melbourne City need because this second half they've been well and truly second best. They just need to really try and wrestle things back on their terms now.
Tavera did well there. As Markaj seems, I'm not sure he's where he seems to be hurting on his knee. Melbourne City don't kick it out because that's their decision, and they've decided to keep playing through Dylan Perez. Nazarene on the right wing. One-on-one with Delmonico. Now Petreski. Perez. Nazarene. Nice overlapping run. Looking for a shot. I thought that had snuck its way into the goal, but Chant has pulled off a remarkable save there with his left foot. I don't know how much he knew about it, but he stuck out his left foot. It's gone onto the post and out for a Melbourne City corner. Yeah,
we probably knew very little about it, and we saw Rami Nazarene involved in that play, and Melbourne City really need to get him back into the game because he hasn't seen a lot of it in this half, but certainly when he gets going, we know just how dangerous he can be. He scored a lot of goals already this season, so they really need to get him involved again, and we saw what he can do there.
Looking for Harrison there. It falls to Metcalf. He goes for the bicycle kick, and it's just gone over the crossbar. That would have been, in round 3, goal of the season. I'm calling it now.
All bets off, that would have been. That would have been something special, and look, certainly individually speaking, it really would have probably put something of a cherry on the cake for Connor Metcalf because he's been very, very good indeed. Probably, I think, certainly the best player that's been for Melbourne City. And now that Hatzigeorgiou is gone, really carrying the midfield in some respects as well, and is that one to sort of move the ball along with. That was a great effort, and then it didn't miss by a whole lot.
Well, the beauty about Metcalf tonight is, as you said, not only has he been the focus of the Melbourne City midfield and being able to move that ball and linking the defence and the front third, but he's actually been able to get a few shots off tonight and really bring those attacking forays for Melbourne City. He's certainly a threat that Bulleen need to be careful of while doing his defensive duties. Everson, too strong. Trying to slip through McLennan, wasn't able to. As Cavallo, looking for the run of Nazarene. Chant well off his line. Who finds someone in the middle. Knight. Finds his captain, Lutmer. He's looking for a backstick run. It was too deep. Too deep there for Josh McMonagle. Has. As Bulleen make their first substitute for the night with Adrian Delmonico going off and number 24 Daniel Scopolitti coming on, hoping to give them a bit of fresh legs so that they can find a winner. Bulleen don't seem to be pressing. Happy with the ball at Delianov's feet. Finds Karlich, who seems to have recovered from the heavy knock he just received a few minutes ago. Sarwan does well. Lutma finds Petreski. McMonagle, Ehas. Looking for a long pass, but Cavallo first to it. Only as far as Lutma. Looking for McLennan, or it's Everson. Everson's able to turn on the penalty spot with his left foot, gets it across, and it's just snuck wide. Delinov was only able to watch as that snuck past. It was an excellent turn on the penalty spot there by Everson, and he was almost able to get a snapshot away on his left. Just wasn't able to get it on target.
He did everything right except the finish. Great turn there. Good little bit of hold-up play. That's what you want from your big striker. But, of course, at the end of it, Daniel, you want the goal. And Daniel Everson certainly owes his team one from earlier. And that was a great chance there. And, look, Bulleen aren't going to get a whole lot of these, even though they are on top. They need to make the most of them.
Great little bit of bin to play. Looking for Najreen, who's able to... I thought he was going to get there before Chant, but Chant did extremely well to cover that amount of ground so quickly before Najreen, who we know is such a quick player. Everson finds Sarwan. Sarwan finds Everson. Mullet and Kolakowski. Kolakowski wins out and he finds Najreen, who's one-on-one. There seems to be some sort of foul there. It's I can't quite tell on the far side who that's on, but it certainly was called on Najreen, who wasn't too happy.
That was certainly there, though. Little tug of the shirt. I think the referee was well within his rights to blow the whistle, and perhaps a little bit of desperation creeping in. Just a little grab there from Najreen. Couldn't quite get away because those chances are becoming quite scarce for City.
McLennan does well. He knocks it off, puts it on a plate. Everson able to turn on the box. He's on his right. He slips in McLennan. McLennan's touch is a little heavy as it rolls out for a goal kick, but certainly some nice interplay there between Bulleen, and we haven't seen too much of that tonight, so it certainly is promising as they're looking to make their second substitute for the night with number 11, Daniel McLennan, coming off, which is a surprise for me. And number 13, Slaven Vranisevic coming on. Daniel McLennan has certainly been a shining star, I think, if not Bulleen's best player here tonight. So potentially there's some fitness concerns there because he certainly was cramping up earlier in this half.
Yeah, you'd suspect that potentially he succumbed to that. But I've really been impressed, Daniel, with Ben Everson in this half. He's really asserted himself on this game using that big frame of his. He's had a couple of chances. You probably should have put one or potentially two of those opportunities away. Hasn't been able to do so. But his hold-up play has been really, really good. And he's bringing his teammates into the game. He's really creating a handful for these Melbourne City defenders. And look, Bulleen really need to just to continue to play through him, really bring him into the game and just ensure that they're getting the best out of him as Melbourne City look to make a rare foray forward here.
Karlich. Kolakowski finds Cavallo. Kolakowski. Karlich makes an overlapping run, but finds Cavallo's feet. Able to turn. Tavere. Karlich. Cavallo, nice in between run. Harrison's able to get there. Chant, excellent, is able to get there in front of Harrison's shot. A nice little ball there by Cavallo, who was able to find Harrison, who made that in behind run. But some excellent goalkeeping there by Wyatt Chant. Metcalf. Now, with results over the weekend, we were talking about the significance of this game. And I know with Langwarrin winning 5-2 over Murray United, who seem to be the league's whipping boys so far this season, and they've recruited incredibly strongly. I know they've got goalkeeper Fraser McLaren there, who came down from Dandenong Thunder. And Eastern Lions obviously winning 2-0 over Springvale White Eagles. The result of this game will certainly have a big impact on the top 3-4 positions in this league.
Yeah, as things stands, Melbourne City will be joining Eastern Lions at the top of the table, but will, of course, be second on goal difference. As Bulleen get another set piece here, more chances coming for them. But if Bulleen can go on and actually win this game, then they will join Eastern Lions at the top of the tree. But as things stand, Melbourne City looking good for that point, and they will join Eastern Lions up top. But there's still a long way to go here, and Melbourne City, well, they came home with a flurry last week.
Stavridis is able to get ahead. Goalward, who actually finds Ben Everson there, who, as you said, has been an absolute menace the second half. He wasn't able to angle his header downward, and it just flew over the crossbar. And all Delianov could do was watch and pray that it didn't go in between the sticks. It's interesting for Melbourne City's goal kicks. As another Melbourne City substitute, their third and final substitute. Stefan Kolakowski coming off. And Yaya Dukuli coming on. Well, for the first time in this match, Melbourne City have a goal kick, and James Delianov has instructed his defenders to push on because he's gone long for the first time this match, because potentially they've decided that it's too dangerous to be playing out, because Bulleen certainly have been pressing them a lot higher than they were in the first half.
Yeah, well, I think the time for mucking about is well and truly done, and we saw it a couple of times. That's a lovely ball into midfield, releasing Cavallo. That's Melbourne City is an opportunity, and just over from Dylan Perez, I think. Good opportunity there for City, probably the best they've had. Aside from that opportunity that did trickle across the line, a real error earlier from Wyatt Champ. That was a very good chance for Dylan Perez. Lovely ball into midfield there to release Josh Cavallo, indeed.
Portelli heads over Everson. Tavere. Petreski gets there first. Tavere continues his run as the ball falls to Chant, who probably had, I think, more time than he probably thought. Probably had time to take a touch. As Dukuli takes a throw in front of the media box. Graham does well to get the ball back to Delianov, who we know is excellent with his feet, and finds his fullback. I think it's Karlich has actually moved over to right back, who finds Metcalf, who's able to turn forward. And from 30 yards out, he's taken a pop. He wasn't able to get onto the end of it as it flies over the crossbar. Slaps himself in frustration because he knows he's better than that. But I do think it's interesting that Karlich, who is so predominantly left-footed, has found his way onto the right side of the defence. Bulleen looking long there for Everson. Vranisevic really trying to work off Everson here. Metcalf, plenty of time in the middle. Looking for a diagonal for Perez, but certainly weren't on the same page there as the ball trickles out for a Bulleen throw. Petreski. There certainly is a lot of time in the midfield for both sides here, as I think as he tries to find Vranisevic, who's taken on Tukuli here. Lutma finds Vranisevic, who finds his way into the box. It was an excellent first touch, but Tukuli does really well there to get his foot in and force a Bulleen corner.
Looks like Cavallo lost a shin pad there, actually. Indeed, he did. That's Tukuli shin pad. There we go. All solved, another Bulleen corner.
Vranisevic now on set-piece duties. Looking for the head of Everson. Falls out. Looking for Nazarene. Sawan first to it. But very comfortable for Delianov. Bulleen pressing really high here, but as we saw in the first half, if one link breaks, an excellent pass there from Tavere finds Cavallo. Nazarene. Tukuli doing his best to overlap, but Cavallo first. Comfortable save there by Chant, who looks to get Bulleen on the front foot. A soft throw, a little bit firmer, and that goes in front of him and Bulleen away. Instead, it's a bit soft, and it actually gives Melbourne City time to get their midfield back. Everson streaming forward. Josh Knight tried his best to find his captain Lutma in the right wing position, who had worked hard after Chant had released the ball. As Melbourne City now seem to be getting a firmer hand on this game. It really is anyone's game here. I think there are goals in this. It's just a matter of who's going to be the one to find a finish.
Yeah, absolutely. Melbourne City have really come back into it in the last sort of 5 minutes or so. They've had some good openings, and well, look, it's end to end. And as we said at the start of the game, Daniel, with all this pressing, players were always going to tire, and we're always going to end up with a fairly open game towards the death. And that's exactly what we're getting. Bulleen will be frustrated that they've lost a little bit of control, but that's sort of the tightrope that they've run by pressing so high for so long.
Knight finds Lutma, who's streaming forward. He's got several opportunities at the back post. It's an excellent cross. I don't know. The referee, the linesman's called offside there. That was Bulleen's best opportunity for the half. Captain Lutma, who had streamed so far forward with an excellent ball, onto the head of Ranisevic, who I think it was Everson. We don't have the luxury of replays here. I think it was Everson who not only didn't get the ball towards the goals, but it actually went backwards, Joel.
Well, I think if you're Ben Everson, you're pretty pleased that the flag went up there. That was not good on the eyes. That was a great opportunity, but it wouldn't have counted anyway because the flag was up. But he's had a few decent opportunities in the half.
With 2 minutes left with stoppage time. Lutma looking for Everson. Petreski. Josh Knight carrying it forward. Plenty of opportunities. He's gone for the shot. It's come off a deflection of a Melbourne City defender. It's gone out for a Bulleen defender. Joel, this is a great contest. With only a few minutes left plus stoppage time, like you said, this is anyone's game. With Bulleen taking several set-piece opportunities, Melbourne City actually looking dangerous on the counter. Who knows what can happen as Bulleen take a set piece looking for the front stick. It wasn't able to get past the front man, which is Carlich. And now Melbourne City are actually streaming away. It's 4-on-3. This is Harrison streaming away with the ball, looking for Nazarene. Nazarene will get there first. Bulleen defender's done well. Turned him back. Finds Dukuli. Dukuli finds Tavere on his left. He cuts it back. Sawe does well to clear it. Falls to Cavallo. Cavallo on his left. Carlich looking for an overlap. On his right foot, Chant, comfortable save. And now Bulleen. We really are going to end, Joel.
Yeah, end to end and down to the wire. Really interesting to note in that last attack from Melbourne City, Sam Morrison. He's had a tremendous influence on this game. The number 9 has come into the game and he's looked dangerous. He's looked lively. Of course, as a striker, you can have your moments where you're isolated. But he's given them a good option up front, and he was dangerous there. Made things happen. And Luca Tavera as well occupied a really nice space and got him behind. But look, interesting finale that we've got here. It's anyone's game. Melbourne City have really come back into things here as they turn it over, though.
While they certainly haven't had the luxury of possession that they did in the first half, those two players that you mentioned in Harrison and Tavera, they've been lightning on the counter-attack and looking promising as Josh Knight picks up the ball in midfield, looks for his captain Lutma. Nice touch with his chest. Ranisevic working hard. McMonagle has. Sarwan with acres of space in midfield. Finds the ball just over Perez. Ball goes in. McMonagle-Ehouse was actually arriving late there. And I don't know that his teammate Varanasevic actually got the shout because he was arriving late with no defender. And if he was able to get a touch in there, as another shin pad has actually fallen out, I think it's Dukuli again. There will be 5 minutes of added time. I don't know that the microphone picks up the stadium announcer, but there will be 5 minutes of extra time as Bulleen make their third sub of the night. Number 6, Peter Sawai, exited the field for number 14. Xavier Nardona's Bulleen for a forward. It falls to Josh Knight, who's looking for his right. He tries to get a cross off. It's deflected nicely by Josh Cavallo. Tavere finds Nazarene on the left side. On his left foot, he's looking for that nice run, but Mullet's too strong in the air. Goes unopposed. Stavridis looking for Everson. Vranisevic trying to go past him, but Graham does well. Referee pays advantage. I take that back. He does not. He calls it back and gives a yellow card to Josh McMonagle-Ehouse. With a couple of minutes left, if you were a betting man, would you say we're going to see a 1-1 draw, or do you think we'll see a late winner?
Well, I think you'd have to say that we're probably going to see a draw here. I think both teams will... Oh, jeez. Close. Very, very close call indeed. Could probably make a case here, Daniel, for a penalty in that instance. However, the appeals were not overly vociferous, so you can forgive the referee, I should say, for letting it go. But look, at this point, at 1-1, if you're in either camp, you simply don't want to concede.
Tavere finds the overlap of Karlich. To go back to that penalty appeal, from this angle, I actually thought there was a bit of contact there. But you're right, no Melbourne City players appealed. And if it's not a foul, is it a dive? Or do you think it's just a matter of receiving contact and falling over?
Yeah, well, it's an interesting question, and it does come up quite a bit, but I don't think you can say that every instance of if a player goes down in the area and a penalty isn't given is simulation. I think for people to say that and sort of go with that line is a bit over the top. But yeah, look, it was an interesting one. But look, usually when you can normally tell the credibility of a decision or a non-decision, as it were, by the appeals of the players, and they weren't overly loud there from Melbourne City.
Cavallo did well there, but he wasn't able to finish. As Bulleen break away here, Portelli does well to get there first. Delianov finds Dukuli. The referee has called full time. It's a 1 goal apiece at the David Barrows Stadium. The teams will stay in their positions on the ladder. It was an excellent game, end to end. Joel, final thoughts?
I think in the end, Daniel, I think 1-1 was probably a fair reflection of the game. It was very much a game of two halves. Melbourne City in the first half were by far and away the dominant team, and they really didn't allow Bulleen anything, although, we say that, but Bulleen did find a way through towards the end of the half, and you could probably suggest that it clearly gave them a whole lot of momentum going into the sheds at half-time, and, well, things really did turn around for them in the second half. They were by far and away the better team. Probably lost control of the game a little bit in the final 10 minutes or so, but I think pound for pound in that second half, they created the better chances, should have taken at least one of those, and Ben Everson probably is the one that can hold his hand up and say that he probably should have put away one of those opportunities. But look, 1-1, I think is a fair result in the end. Man
of the match for you, Joel?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think probably Connor Metcalf for me. I think he was very good throughout the 90 minutes. And look, some of the Hatzigeorgiou in the first half was very good in that midfield role at number 6. But restricted in the second half and eventually was sacrificed by Joe Palacides. But Connor Metcalf was an ever-present. Got on the ball, linked defence, linked midfield, and actually pushed forward in a few instances and had some decent opportunities on goal. Of course, we saw that bicycle kick as well, which wasn't too far away. That would have been an absolute corker had that have gone in. Of course, it didn't in the end, but look, I thought he was quite good and can hold his head high, certainly.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to this Monday night fixture between Bulleen Lions and Melbourne City Youth at David Barrow Stadium. The game finished 1 goal apiece. Enjoy your week, and we'll see you next week on NPL live streaming.